So making a daily vlog means that you edit everywhere and always, because it takes quite a lot of time to edit it. After a massive party with a lot of drinking yesterday, I had to get up quite early this morning. Hey guys, it's not even 12 on a Sunday morning. I didn't even have the time to edit the vlog from the day before. I haven't done any editing on the video from yesterday because we were heading out to yet another birthday party. The two of us now have to drive to a, what is it, birthday? Yeah. I even tried on our way there to edit the video in the car. Editing while driving is a lot harder than I thought. Now I'm back at home from the birthday party. I'm done editing the video, uploading it to YouTube. It's delayed by 3 or 4 hours, but that's just what sometimes happens when you do a daily vlog. You are sometimes too tired to edit, too hungover, or just have other things to do. But yeah, so far everything alright, except for the massive hangover that I have from yesterday. So instead of doing a hangover story time as I usually do, let's just do another edition of track submits. I haven't done one in a while and I have so many great tracks that you guys sent me. First track is by Heat 9. He is 15 years old, from San Francisco Bay Area, and he's producing now seriously for about 1.5 years. His track already got mastered and released, but he still wants some feedback, especially which genre his track could be within the EDM scene, and if I'm noticing anything about the mixing. Track, but I also couldn't really put it into one specific genre. For electronic dance music, you in the low end don't really have a kick. Your kick is very high and you have the bass underneath that's working, but I'm still missing kind of the sub pressure of the kick. This would balance the track a lot more. It sounds a bit mid and top heavy. I'm really missing, yeah, the sub part of the kick. The main synth sound is bit boring. There's not really a whole lot to it. I would try layering it or just layering certain notes of it to make it a bit more interesting, automate it a whole lot more, and also have parts where the main melody is not playing and then playing again, or maybe even changing the main melody to another one in certain sections of the song, just to keep it interesting throughout the entire track. The future bass kind of chord steps are really good, and the bass, the actual bass that is playing is also really nice, so definitely don't change those two. Really just a bit more kick and having a more interesting lead synthesizer. The next track submit is by Callum. He's 15 years old, from Melbourne, Australia, and he's producing upbeat tropical dance kind of music. And he has trouble with his recent track with the mixing side, especially layering lead synthesizer sounds and making sure that they're not clashing. Yeah, nice tropical house. I especially like the kick drum and the mixing in the low end. It's all right. The bass sits nicely and goes well with the kick together. What's really a bit clashing are the main sounds in the track. I think there are just too many of them and too many of the same type. So you usually have a kick, a bass on top, then low chords, low synth sounds, or a low piano or a high bass instead of that. And then in the middle section for tropical house, some of the cork M1, marimba, or these kind of tropical house sounds, and that's basically it. And this track has 2 or even 3 elements all sitting in this middle frequency spectrum. So you can either just delete one of those tracks or just make it quieter and push it more into the background and make it wide. Or you could just make sure that these parts are not playing at the same time. This would make the track also a bit more interesting because it's changing over time. You could also try fixing it with the mixing, like trying to separate them with an EQ. But that's probably the hardest way, and it won't really get you anywhere because they're really sitting in the same spot. So you have to make sure to separate them. You could also try out lowering one of those elements an octave down and just make more room for the other things that are going on in the track. I really like the chord sounds. They are more sounding like from a progressive track. But I think they're just too open at certain points in the track. If you would close down the cutoff, you would still have the chords going on and a bit more room for the other main elements that are in the track. I actually made an entire video about how to kind of layer a track and mix it just by selecting the right elements. I still think it's the most important video about mixing that I've ever done. The third track is by Andreas. He's 22 years old and is from Kärnten. He is studying audio engineering in Vienna, and this is his first track called Jon Sine. A nice track. The mixing is good. It's all where it needs to be. For example, in this track you can really hear that the elements are like stacked in the right way. You don't have a lot of elements that share the same spot in the frequency spectrum. So it's way easier to mix something like that. It's way easier to get a good sound. It's really just all about selecting the right things. There's not much I can say about this track. It's really all right. Concerning the multi-band compression, I really can't give you any feedback to that. You would have to send me a version without the multi-band compression, and then with it, there's just no way I can tell what the multi-band compression is kind of doing in the track. It sounds quite alright compressed, maybe a little bit too much, but it's still all fine. I would just suggest you to let someone else master it. That is a mastering engineer. As an artist or music producer, it's really not your task to master your own tracks. The next one is by DJ Landry. He is a producer and DJ from Croatia, and he just wants some general feedback. Yeah, a nice EDM track. It is going into the right direction. The mixing is alright. The one thing that bothers me a bit, and where I think you can get more potential out of this track, is if you would change the main melody. It's like very loopy and repeating all the time, and that's good like for the beat and dance section, but I would love to see you kind of develop the melody at least in the breaks. So making it 8 bars long and having more diversity in it, more changes, and just having a longer melody line that is a bit more catchy. I think that's something that could really elevate the track to the next level. And also the effect sounds, some of them sound not so right or are just too loud. Especially I think there was one white noise that was just like so loud that it kind of pressed down all of the other elements that were going on at the same time. So try to make your effect sounds a bit more subtle and get the transitions right between the effect and then the track that is continuing. So let's actually do another track. That's the last one for today. On this one, I really like the chord sounds. They sound really good. The vocal pitch kind of thing is a little bit too loud. Also, some of the higher off hi-hats are a bit loud and harsh. The kick is nice, but what's really entirely missing is kind of a sub-bass part that's just so important for this kind of music. I know the kick has a lot of bass in this track, but you will still need a sub-bass to go along with it. Maybe playing a chill, easy groove right along underneath the track, or maybe just having the root notes of the chords play along to them to have something there in the low end. That's really important for electronic dance music. I think that's already it for today. We had 5 really strong tracks that are going into the right direction. If these people just continue producing music as much as possible, they will get eventually to the point where the tracks will be released. They will have an easy time finding a label, but you just have to continue producing music. It's a whole lot about gaining experience and putting that experience into the next track and just develop your style, your sound, your mixing, and all these kind of things to have a good track at the end. Now it's really just about time to go back onto the couch, watch some Netflix, enjoy the rest of the Sunday and trying to cure the hangover. And I think next weekend, no drinks for me at all.